Now we're just going to move down and go through each game as they're occurring. Cowboys and Bucks going on right now. It was 7-7 earlier. The Bucks are 8.5-point favorites.
They're 9.5 at the start of the game. So they were.
I said the Bucks would win, but I think the Cowboys cover. I think it's going to be 27-35 around there. That'd be 8 as opposed to 8.5 of where it was. It was at 10 last time we checked.
Yeah.
I think they definitely cover at 10. The closest it was a 6-point. I would have bet the Bucks to cover that. I think they'll win around that 7 to 8 points.
Sure.
So then it was Bengals Vikings. I thought Vikings win by 3, or Vikings win by more than 3, which they're 3-point favorites. Eagles Falcons. Falcons are 3-point favorites. I think Falcons win. They cover, and it's a blowout. I have
the Eagles are not. Yeah, the Eagles are not good.
No, the Eagles have bad defense. Their best players on offense are young, and so you don't.
Right.
I don't see it. I think the Eagles are going to be vying for that top pick.
Yeah, I think the Falcons have that. The Falcons got offense. They are
the most hyped team this offseason. However, and teams that get hype, I am always like, let's back off a bit.
Let's take a chill. Let's hit the brakes.
Because it's all baseless. It's all, I just have a good feeling about the Falcons this year. Well, if you have a good feeling about them, they probably have a good feeling about themselves, which is going to lead to some wins. But they also have to go up against the Saints, Panthers, and Bucks for 6 of their games.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think the Falcons are being overhyped. I think the Falcons are more of like a 7-10 team.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's like 8
good,
and 9.
but not great.
Right. We did
Falcons.
when we picked how the division was going to end up. We did pick Falcons in the second place position.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't have the score 28-3.
No, I think Calvin Ridley will get a touchdown.
Okay.
I don't think they'll get a running touchdown against I think the Eagles will. I know the reference. I know the reference, but
let's make sure you got that.
Yeah, I got that. But the next game, Steelers, Bills. Bills are 6.5-point favorites. I think the Steelers are another team. People are picking them to potentially be fighting for that position in the AFC North. I think the Steelers are potentially last place in their division. Like, I don't know. I think the Bengals probably are, but
worst 11-0 team you've ever seen last year.
Is. So, and like TJ Watt is huge, but I think so. I think the Bills win, cover. I put 41-24.
That's a lot of points.
I don't see the Steelers. So last year, Big Ben was averaging almost 50 passes a game for a little bit.
Yeah,
that's like, so 50 passes a game means you're constantly on offense.
Yeah. Burrow was up there too. Burrow was chucking 40 something a game too.
He was top 3 rookie record for having 62 in his first game.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think Bills Mafia, if you're listening, I think you guys are opening the year strong.
Yeah.
I think Diggs.
Yeah, they gotta prove. That's their division to lose.
If I had to guess, Diggs is a 2-touchdown game. And they also are trying to run a 2-headed back. I think Moss and Singletary probably end up with a touchdown. So there's 4 touchdowns. They're at 28. You can keep going. Josh Allen probably gets 1 rushing. Like I think this game is going to be like, so normally like the week 1 games, the defense have the advantage. Because like defense is easier to prepare for.
Right.
But I really think Bills going to destroy. 49ers, Lions. Niners are 7.5-point favorites. I think Niners win, but I think Lions cover it. This is a bet I would stay away from. So
a volatile bet.
Yeah. Quick thing. Last year I was a 57% better. 57. They say your goal should be above 52 to 55. I was 57. I have had bad years, and also a heads up, my first week last year, I have it in my notebooks, I was like 40%. I was way off week 1. So we might be way off here. Just want to preface it with that. But just want to let you know, overall last year, including the playoffs, I had every game correct except the Super Bowl. I said the Chiefs were going to beat the Bucks, but I was wrong. But I did get every other game correct. So little thing there. I am also a volatile bettor. But this is one I would stay away from. I think 31-24 So they just barely cover by half a point. But I think
Lions are most likely going to be missing the running back probably for this game.
DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
So I was huge on Jamal Williams coming out of BYU when he was coming into the draft. Right. I was huge on him. And when the Packers got him as a Vikings fan, I was pissed. I thought he was going to be way better for them than what he actually was, but I also think he was used incorrectly. I think Jamal Williams is still going to do well for them, even with DeAndre Swift just kind of like being taken out of the lineup for reasons. I do think they cover. I do think especially like even if Jimmy G's starting, which he is, I think the Niners give up some points to a Lions team that they are going to underestimate. I don't know if you saw, but the NFL fan vote picked the Lions to win the division.
I saw it and I scrolled past it. Yeah.
I don't think they're that good, but I do think the Lions are getting slept on. I think people are saying that they're going to be the top pick. I think the Lions are better than the Eagles. I think the Lions are better than the Texans. I think the Lions are better than a few teams that are a little better than the Jets. So they're not the worst. They're just the worst in the division. But yeah, I think they win and cover. And then 31-24. Cardinals, Titans. Titans are 3-point favorites. I think Cardinals win outright. 24-17.
Good. Let's hope Kyler and DeAndre get some points.
If I had to guess, based on the way the Titans defense is built, and they could not stop anyone last year, the only reason their scoring wasn't so high was because Derrick Henry runs the clock out.
Right.
However, the Cardinals have a pretty good front seven. I like Hassan Reddick a lot. Budda Baker is healthy. So
Budda Baker.
I think it will be a decently high scoring game, 24-17. That's 41 points total, but that's about what I think the Bills are going to get by themselves. But I think Derrick Henry gets a touchdown. I'm hoping Julio gets one against the Cardinals just because he's on my fantasy team. But if I'm being,
I was saying Kyler and DeAndre.
If I'm being 100% honest, I think Julio does not score. I think their touchdown is AJ Brown and Derrick Henry, or 2 for Derrick Henry, and then a field goal. And then I think the Cardinals, it's going to be a rushing touchdown for Kyler, passing to D-Hop, and then that third one is either going to be Christian Kirk or their rookie. Not Elijah Moore, that's the Jets guy, but they have a rookie wide receiver. I think he might get the other touchdown. So that's my pick for them. Titans are favorites, and it's the home game for them. I still think Cardinals will upset them. Seahawks, Colts, 2.5 points favorite for the Seahawks. I think Seahawks win it and cover it. I'm a huge proponent of this year of the Colts. I think the Colts are going to be underestimated every week, but their defense is incredible. However, Russell Wilson's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, they just find ways to win games.
And I heard talk about that. The best quarterbacks in the league are guys that you can't explain it. They just win. You can't always figure out why Tom Brady wins, but they win it. You can't always, like Russell Wilson's one of those guys. You don't think they're going to win. Like I genuinely was going to pick the Colts initially, and I was like 2.5 points. Normally the home team gets a 3 points, which means if it was a home game, the Seahawks would be almost a touchdown favorite. So I think Seahawks win 27-20. So that's two touchdowns and 2 field goals for the Colts, and either 3 touchdowns and a couple field goals for Seahawks. I think DK Metcalf is going to have a rough time, but if they can get Carson going, I think Lockett's going to get a touchdown.
Sure.
Chargers football team. Chargers are 1-point favorites. I said football team wins outright 26-31.
Yeah, we're high on football team.
High on football team. I'm a Fitzmagic fan.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also an Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Thomas, Samuel, Logan Thomas, and
Brandon
Ryan
Scherf.
Fitzpatrick doesn't use tight ends a ton. That's my big problem with them. However, yeah, a huge brand. I wanted the Vikings to get Brandon Scherf. They keep franchise tagging him.
Logan Thomas is a huge weapon, and they paid him.
They should use him.
So,
but my biggest thing, I think Curtis Samuel is their big sign. He's a running back / wide receiver / special teams guy. He can do it all. He was not being used properly, and Christian McCaffrey being out last year hurt his value. But I think Curtis Samuel does well, and I think the football team beats the Chargers because the football team is at home. The Chargers are going. Justin Herbert was the best quarterback under pressure, but the football team brings a different type of pressure than any other team can replicate.
Magic.
And they bring magic. So next game, Jets-Panthers. Panthers are 4.5-point favorites. I think Panthers win and cover, but it's another volatile bet that I would stay away from. I said 14-21. I think both of these teams are not great on offense. It's either going to be that's either way off, and it's going to be like 12-7 or 12-10 or 12-9, like all field goal game. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be a lot of punts with punts. And then I think it's going to be, Christian McCaffrey with a touchdown or two, DJ Moore with one, and then
Sam Darnold revenge game.
Yep. Maybe McCaffrey gets one.
I want to see something. I want to see something from Zach Wilson. Something.
I think those two touchdowns from the Jets are going to be a sick pass to Elijah Moore, and then either a rushing touchdown from Wilson, or it's going to be a I'm blanking on their other wide receiver.
Coleman for a touchdown. Tevin Coleman.
Thank you. Yeah, Tevin Coleman. Yeah, so I think you'll see a lot of splash from Zach Wilson, but he's going to have to move a lot because their O-line is not great. They have just a couple good guys against the Panthers, who it's not always their players that are good, but they always seem to have good scheming. And I think that helps because they're in such a tough division. They got to
be competitive. Those teams were last year, even that division was pretty crazy.
If I had to make like a bold prediction, I think a Shaq Thompson interception.
Okay.
Or strip sack. Jaguars, Texans. Why would you ever bet on a game that has these two teams involved no matter what year it is? It's Jags are 3-point favorites. I think Jags win and cover 34-13. Blowout. You got Tyrod Taylor versus Trevor Lawrence. You got David Johnson, Mark Ingram, Duke Johnson versus James Robinson, who's so good.
Right.
And the
Jags have some weapons on the passing game too.
Weapons. They have a decent O-line, but not great. Both teams have quarterbacks that are going to have to run for their lives, but Trevor Lawrence is built better for taking hits. Yeah, I just think the Texans defense is terrible. Texans offense is almost as terrible. Jaguars at least have a good offense. So it'll be a high scoring game, but I think it'll be high scoring on one side. If I were to pick a team, I think it's Jags, but I wouldn't bet it anyway. It's illegal in Minnesota. So I'm not actually putting any money on any of these. So Browns, Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites. I think Chiefs win, but Browns cover 37-31. Barely cover, but I think the Browns are super underrated here. I think the Chiefs are just one of those teams that, if I were to pick my Super Bowl favorite, Chiefs.
Right. Yeah.
They have the best quarterback that I have watched with my own eyes.
Yep.
It's if I were to put somebody above Mahomes as somebody like as I'm watching them, I'm like, wow, that's an incredible quarterback. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Tom Brady's one of those guys, like as I watch, I'm like, you don't think that. You don't think, wow, he just wins.
Yeah.
And then Russell Wilson's another one of those guys. But Patrick Mahomes, you watch him and it's just
Chiefs are always the favorites.
Chiefs should be favorites. As long as Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill are not 50 years old and Andy Reid's their head coach. And they got it's like multiple teams have a bunch of new offensive linemen. Packers have 3 new starting offensive linemen week 1. Part of that's an injury, but like the Chiefs, all of their new linemen are vets. Like it's not like they're terrible new guys or like.
Right, and then when they brought in Schwartz, he was one of those vets, and then he was like a key piece in them winning the whole thing.
Their offense. So Laurent Duvernay-Tardis, I think, is a good lineman.
Oh yeah,
their new linemen are so good
too, right?
That's why he sat out COVID, because it wasn't because he was worried about COVID. He was treating COVID patients.
Right. Yeah,
he's really good, and their new line is so good that he's on the trading block, which I think the Vikings should at least dabble. He's going to be expensive in a year or two, but those teams we just mentioned, Jags, Texans, Jets, what are you doing? Right. You have young quarterbacks that need protection. Bengals, go get Laurent Duvernay-Tardis, please. But yeah, I think Browns cover.
Browns made some noise. Browns made some noise last year.
I love that
out. All those. Yeah, we've always loved the Browns.
We loved the Browns when
Peyton Hillis, Jordan Cameron, Isaiah Crowell.
When Yeah, Isaiah Crowell was big.
The
But for
weed
me,
smoker,
Brady
Josh
Quinn.
Gordon.
Brady
Josh
Quinn,
Gordon.
Cody Kessler. You know, I've always liked the players they have. They just have never turned it into wins.
Josh Gordon, Joe Hayden.
I
should
also
have worn my
liked.
Hayden jersey.
You should have worn. I also really like Justin Gilbert. I thought that he would have been a great fit for the Vikings, but I thought they would have used a Khalil Mack or Anthony Barr better. And then Justin Gilbert didn't turn out too good. But
turn out too hot.
Yeah, we've always liked the Browns, so we are a little biased there, but I do think the Browns are really good. I think the Chiefs defense, I think they fall off end of games because their offense is so quick hitting.
Right.
And I think the Browns are good. Their running attack is good enough to wear that Chiefs defense down, and I think it'll keep it a close game.
Okay.
Dolphins, Patriots. Patriots are 3 points favorites. I think Patriots win and cover because Belichick will handle Tua. I think
they spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of money this offseason. So
they spent the most ever of any team. Mac Jones is a not exciting, mistake-free quarterback. He's just,
we'll see. I think there's a lot of question marks.
My question marks for him are, can he be mistake-free in live games? Brian Flores is a tremendous coach. I think the Dolphins seem to have the Patriots number. However, that was mainly when Tom was there, but it seems to be consistent anyway. I think the Dolphins will get him a couple times. I think 16 to 24 is fairly close. It's
Dolphins got some good offensive pieces too.
Expect who's their starting running back now?
Myles Gaskin,
that's the one. I was wanting to say Kenyon Drake is no, he's been on 3 teams since then. I think Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, Myles Gaskin. It's their weak point on offense right now is quarterback and O-line. So O-line, Patriots, with the way they scheme, I think just outdoes that offensive line, which in turn stops their production. And then the Dolphins defense, I think, is going to be good and then is going to have a couple slip-ups that cause the loss.
You still expect Xavier Howard to just be locked down? They don't throw his way?
So Mac Jones studies film a lot. His biggest thing, apparently he was studying film in preseason, which nobody does. He might not be scared of Xavier Howard. I think he's going to come up, and if he sees Xavier in a coverage that he doesn't like, he'll stay away. But if he sees a coverage that he might like, he'll give it a shot. Sure. Mac Jones he's good. I just don't think he's amazing. Yeah, I think they go for it. I think Byron Jones is also really good. So if anything, you're gonna see the dink and dunk, Dink and Mac. It's gonna be Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry over the middle against the weaker Dolphins linebackers. Packers Saints, 3-point favorites for the Packers. Packers win and cover. I said this is gonna be a shootout. 38-33. I think Devonta Adams gets a couple. Rodgers throws a couple. Aaron Jones probably gets one. A.J. Dillon might sneak one in. Tanyan might get one. And I think Jameis is going to just launch it all over the place. Alvin Kamara is going to have 30 carries, 30 catches. He's going to have all 33 of their points. He's going to kick their field goals.
Only if it was you in the championship game.
True. But yeah, I think 38-3 is going to be a shootout, but I think Packers win and cover. Broncos, Giants. Broncos are 2.5-point favorites over the Giants. Everything that I've been hearing rumblings is that the Giants are unsure of Daniel Jones, even though they felt so sure before the season started, and that they feel like their offense is sluggish. I think that comes from distrust in the coach. And because of that, I think the Broncos are going to win and cover. Teddy Bridgewater is another one of those guys that just seems to find a Fitzmagic type where you don't think they should win and they find a occasional win, but not that great quarterback sort of finds ways to win. And like I said, I think KJ Hamler is going to have a breakout year. Cortland Sutton's going to get guarded. He's going to get guarded tight by the Giant Bradbury.
Let's hope not too tight because I need him to score.
I think Bradbury is gonna.
They have another guy.
Noah Fant.
Keep going.
Good chance here, but I think Broncos do win. I think it's a high passing game.
Tim Patrick. He played well for them last year.
Hamler's more like a rookie year Tyler Lockett, where it's
Jerry
kind of
Jeudy, they got pieces.
Jerry Jeudy needs to just learn how to catch the ball, though. But I think KJ Hamler, it's those white lines. They're not there. I think KJ Hammer's like rookie year Tyler Lockett a lot, where it's a 60-yard touchdown or it's a 2-yard catch. So it's just it's kind of hard to guess, but I think Giants are beaten over the top easy. It's trying to dink and dunk that might be difficult against them.
Yeah.
Bears, Rams. Rams 7.5-point favorites. I think Rams win, but Bears cover. They're at 27-32. I think the Bears are underrated because Andy Dalton is listed as their starter. You could honestly drop both of those by 10 if you want and say 17-22. I think that might be even more accurate. But I think with all the rules, like we saw a ton of explosive offenses in week 1 last year. And because I was so wrong last year, I'm just going for the complete opposite. I'm going to go for like everybody's going to explode again. So I think their Rams defense is overrated right now. They lost a lot of pieces that I don't think people are taking into enough effect. Like even guys like Apke, like he wasn't even like a starting safety for them all the time last year. That's a big loss. And then they lost John Johnson to the Browns. So yeah, I think their defense is going to take a step back, but still going to be amazing and really good. It's just not as good as everybody thinks. I don't think they're going to be able to shut out a team.
Sure.
But obviously I'm okay being wrong because I am a big Rams fan ever since Steven Jackson.
The only thing I'm not a fan of is their logo.
Yeah. Yep. I don't like their new logo.
Or is it the Chargers logo?
I mean,
one of them looks identical to the other one. Like I think it's the Rams.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think Rams win, but I think the Bears are better than people think, and the Rams are worse than people think.
I like to see Stafford in a new situation. I'd like to see him aired out.
Which is why I'm hoping they do have that 27-32. I hope Stafford's played the Bears so many times.
Yeah.
He usually does well, and the Rams have decent receivers. It's just the Rams offense I question. The Rams defense, I think, took a step back. So the hype for them being like the Chiefs #1 competition, I think that's too much. And I honestly, like we said it, we think the Rams are finishing behind the Cardinals. I think
that was close though. It was like 1A and 1B.
Right.
So
I don't think
you wanted the Rams, and then
I did. I want the Rams,
Cardinals.
But I think the Rams I think the Rams are great, but they're not as good as everybody thinks. So yeah, we'll move on. Ravens, Raiders. This is the last game.
Does this change now with the injuries?
Does this change? No, because I made this today. Josh Jacobs is day-to-day. Kenyon Drake is like not. I mean, he wouldn't be on as many teams as he's been on if he was trustworthy as a running back.
He's good.
He's really good. It's just I don't know
if he was. I think they don't want to pay him too.
Nope. Well, and why does no team want to pay him? Like, I think the Ravens win. I think the Ravens cover. I said 26-21. I think Raiders get a few touchdowns. I think Derek Carr continues doing Derek Carr things where he puts up good numbers but can't get wins. Very Kirk Cousins-esque, where they have a decent record. They get some wins. They pull out some wins that they shouldn't, like beating the Chiefs. I still think they lose Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson, playoff or a contract year, he's going to destroy people. I think you've seen his MVP numbers. I think he's going to get close to that again. I honestly think Josh Allen's going to finish second in MVP votes, or like top 3 in MVP votes again, but won't win it again because guys like Lamar and Mahomes are going to put their numbers.
Right.
Yeah. And I think Ravens win and cover. So that's what I thought. That's what the slate of games this week. Most people only go through like 5 of their games, like the games they feel strongest about. Maybe we'll do that in the future, especially you
could put up a graphic too. You can be like, here's our thoughts for this week.
Yeah, and then it would only be like a 2-second. I wouldn't have to worry about editing. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could do that.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do that in the future. But for this week,
we'll pick one. So we did the Vikings Bengals this week.
Yeah,
let's do that. Like, let's do our Vikings thing, and then let's just pick a game. Let's pick
a second game to do
a random game. Yeah,
yeah, and
then we can put up the scores,
and then we'll do the graphic of the rest of the scores. I like that. So little discussion there, but that's what we think. Watch me get like 10% of those right. Just watch.
Okay, which would be what, 2 games?
Yeah, last year my week 1 was awful. My week 1 predictions was awful. It was I was hitting like 60% post.
The only one where I kind of felt like a little bit like unsure of was the Dolphins Patriots.
Uh-huh.
That's the one where I was like,
if we were to do those sorts of things where we only pick 5 like other sports places, Dolphins Patriots is another game I would stick away from.
Yeah, Jags Texans is free, so should be free.
It should be, but exactly. It's volatile. That's all we got for the NFL. We just want to do a quick breakdown. It will be different in the future just because I like the flow of that. I just think we could make it smoother.